What's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. This is Living in Alberta, and today we're going to look at the top 5 older neighborhoods in Red Deer, Alberta. Yo, my name is Kyle. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. On this channel, we break down everything when it comes to moving to or living in Alberta. So if you do want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely click that notification bell so you are notified every single week when a new video comes out. And if you would like any help with real estate needs, I am a realtor in the province, guys. So use this information popping up right now. Get a hold of me any way you know how. We'd love to hear from you. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. Lately, I've been getting a lot of reach outs asking me about some of the more popular neighborhoods in Red Deer, Alberta. Now, I know the title says top 5 best older neighborhoods, but a more accurate title would be some of the more popular older neighborhoods in Red Deer because there are quite a few. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at the first one. Let's talk about Bauer. Bauer is a bit of an interesting neighborhood. Most of the homes were built in the 70s and early 80s. So big lots, mature trees, a lot of character in the homes. I mean, let's face it, a lot of these newer neighborhoods, they're built in the middle of a farmer's field. There is no mature trees. The developer gives you that one tree that you can put on your front yard. So I see what the allure is or the draw is to these older neighborhoods. Let's get into the location of Bauer. So it is on the south end of Red Deer, and in my opinion, it is the most walkable neighborhood in the city. It kind of goes back and forth between Clearview and Bauer, but if you're looking for older neighborhoods, Bauer definitely wins out in these situations. Now, when we talk about walkability, it's not just about trail systems and the ability to go for a walk on nice paths, which Bauer has a ton of. But we need to look at doing your everyday things in life. So getting groceries, going to restaurants, shopping and amenities, stumbling home from the bar after a long night of drinking.
I'm drunk. You're drunk. Everybody's drunk.
Bauer has all of this stuff super close. So one of the biggest benefits of living in Bauer is that it has Bauer Mall right in the neighborhood, which is the most popular mall in Red Deer.
Well, let's do the shopping.
A lot of people use Bauer Mall in the wintertime to get their exercise when it's too cold out. But you also have restaurants right in the neighborhood, right along Gates Avenue. So there's Rusty Pelican, there's Earl's right across the street. You have Beau's Bar and Grill. Across Gates Avenue, again, you have South Point Common, Home Depot, Walmart, Sobeys, all those kinds of things, Tim Hortons. So when it comes to being close to some of the best shopping in Red Deer, it's not very far from Bauer, which makes it a fairly walkable neighborhood when it comes to Red Deer standards.
Really? That's the best part.
Now, as I mentioned, there's also some great walking trails that run along the east side of Bauer, along Piper Creek. There's some multi-million-dollar homes over there, a newer neighborhood on Bannerman Close. And on the west side of Bauer, it actually borders Gates Avenue. I'm not sure if I said that yet or not. So if we start looking at some of maybe the potential cons of living in Bauer, that could be considered one of them, depending on where your house is. Some people might not want to back onto Gates Avenue. They might not like that. Having the mall right in your neighborhood is a huge bonus, depending on how you look at it. But it can also make some of the neighborhood, especially around the mall, the streets there a little bit busier. But if you are looking for an older neighborhood in a really good location that's super close to amenities, I think Bauer is one of the best options.
Let's go there now.
It's a beautiful neighborhood. You get bigger lots there. You got the old growth trees. You got a lot of character in the homes. It's a safe neighborhood. It's a clean neighborhood. You have those great walking trails right there. So if older neighborhoods are on your radar, have a tour around Bauer. See if the potential cons of living there are something that don't matter to you. It might be a great option for you. So something to think about.
You like this place?
I love this this place!
All right, let's head up to the north end and let's take a look at the second neighborhood. Let's talk about the Pines. So this neighborhood, kind of the same time frame as Bauer. Most of the homes were built in the 70s. Now the location, it's kind of tucked in behind Gates Avenue, north of 67th Street. Kind of one of those ones that if you're not really looking for it, you kind of forget that it's there. It's also very similar to Bauer in that it borders Gates Avenue, like I just said. And across 67th Street, you have Parkland Mall. Now this mall is not as popular as Bauer Mall. It doesn't have as good as shopping. Actually, the mall is kind of dying, if I'm being honest.
Why don't you tell them the truth?
But there's a Walmart in there, and there's also the most popular gym in Red Deer called Good Life Fitness. Now there's parts of the Pines that can seem a little bit busy. Like I said, the southern border, it runs along 67th Street, and the western border runs along Gates Avenue. But there are parts of the Pines that, in my opinion, have this secluded feel to it that I just don't think you're gonna get in any other parts of the city. There's kind of the main part of the Pines, and then just on the southern border, there's a few closes, Paolo Close, and I can't remember the names of the other ones, but the trees there, it's such a densely treed area. It's hard to believe that you're actually in the city. It does not feel like you're in the middle of Red Deer. There's some beautiful homes on these closes. I would highly recommend, if you're thinking of moving to an older neighborhood here in Red Deer, that you check these places out. Some beautiful multi-million-dollar homes. And for some reason, a lot of the Ontario people, they're always asking me about pools. There's not a lot of pools out here in Alberta because of our climate. Our winters are a little bit too cold for them. But if you are going to find a pool, there's a good chance you're going to find it here in the Pines.
Am I okay to swim?
So I love this neighborhood. I think it's a great option on the north end of the city. Now let's kind of touch on some of the cons that are perceived or potential cons that could come with living in this neighborhood. As I've talked about, it borders 67th Street and Gates Avenue, so certain parts can seem a little bit busier, maybe a little bit noisier because those are very busy arteries. Now, most of the best shopping in Red Deer is on the south end. So, I mean, Red Deer's really not that big of a city. So this is kind of pulling hairs here a little bit, but you are about a 10-minute drive from places like Home Depot, Bauer Mall, South Point Common, all the really good shopping that's on the south end. There is some decent stuff going on in the north end, but in my opinion, it just doesn't really compare to everything that's going on in the south end. But another great option if you're thinking of an older neighborhood in Red Deer. All right, moving right along to neighborhood number 3, and this one is 2 of them combined together. We've talked about these neighborhoods on this channel before. Let's take a look at Waskesiu and Woodley. Now these are some of the oldest neighborhoods in Red Deer. You can find homes as early as 1900. Most are built in the 40s and 50s. What I like about these 2 neighborhoods is that, for one, they're super beautiful. There's a lot of natural beauty to them, but if you are looking to live along the river, Waskesiu is probably your best option, or in my opinion, is the best option.
This place is amazing.
In both Woodley and Waskesiu, you have immediate access to some of the best trail systems within the city. Also, another bonus, if you do have children in the high school era or time frame, Lindsay Thurber High School is in the Waskesiu neighborhood. You have Kerrywood Nature Center, the Gates Lakes Bird Sanctuary, which have phenomenal walking trails. There's Mackenzie Trails as well. So just great access to Red Deer. One of the biggest benefits of living in Red Deer is the trail system and the walking paths. Now, these neighborhoods are unique in that you can find some turn-of-the-century homes beautifully remodeled on these massive lots, and we'll show up some b-roll here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But Woodley and Waskesiu are some great older neighborhoods. Now again, as always, let's talk about some of the cons of living in these neighborhoods. 55th Street, which is a busy artery, separates the 2 of them, so can be a little bit busier feel depending on where you're living in these neighborhoods. And as a caveat, that's why I'm going to make you guys go and check these neighborhoods out before you do purchase in them. They are located downtown, and sometimes people do not want to live downtown. So that is definitely something to think about. I do have some friends that live in both of these neighborhoods, and they say they've never had any issues whatsoever. They really enjoy the neighborhoods. So take it for what you will. Potential con in that it is very close to downtown, or is in downtown Red Deer.
That's not bad.
It's totally fine.
You sure?
All right, let's move on to neighborhood or neighborhoods number 4. Again, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm going to combine 2 of them together because they're very close together and they're also very similar. Let's talk about Grandview and Mount View. Now, I put these 2 together because they border each other. Grandview is just to the north of Mount View. They're very similar to each other. Most of the homes were built in the 50s and the 60s, and we'll throw up a map animation so you can see exactly where they're located. They get their names Grandview and Mount View because they're up on the hill or the top of the valley, however you want to call that, and they kind of look out over the city center. So there's some really beautiful homes that are backing onto the wooded area that have a view looking out over Red Deer. These are really nice, quiet, older neighborhoods. They seem to be a very popular spot to buy lots and knock down some of the older buildings and build new homes. And there's lots of schools in the area, so if you do have children or maybe a little bit younger family, there's lots of options. You don't have to go very far to find a school. And one of the benefits of living in these older neighborhoods is that if you do live or work downtown, it's very walkable to walk down there, ride your bike, whatever it is. There's access to the trails that can send you right downtown, or if you just want to head down Spruce Drive, you're literally in the city center in about 5 minutes. So very walkable in that sense. There is the Eastview Center that's kind of close to both of these neighborhoods, so it does have an IGA there for groceries. Good old East 40th Pub, that's kind of a legend here in Red Deer. So really good, quiet neighborhoods, great access to downtown if you do work in the city center. Really popular neighborhoods, but I'm trying to find some cons here. Guys, I can't really think of any cons. These ones are tough. It's tough finding cons for all these neighborhoods, if I'm being honest with you. I'm just trying to give you guys something to think about for each of them. Maybe in this one, I don't know, there's not a lot of immediate shopping right in the area. However, literally 5 minutes, you're at Bower Mall. So I'm kind of just rambling now. Not really any major cons of living in these two neighborhoods.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, let's talk about my favorite one, and number 5, let's talk about Sunnybrook. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos on this channel, you probably know that I'm a huge fan of Sunnybrook. In my opinion, this is one of the best older neighborhoods that you can live in, if not one of the best neighborhoods, period, that you can live in Red Deer. And there's a few reasons for that. First off, it's a great south central location. You're not far from anything. You have, if you want to go to Bower Mall, you can drive there within 5 minutes, or if you want to walk through the trees, you can walk there within 5 minutes. Along the western border of Sunnybrook, it's all treed trail system, very beautiful trails that run along Piper Creek. On the southern border, that's actually a farm that borders Sunnybrook on the south end still. Now, this farm is set to be developed by one of the developers. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to start, but they have allotted, I think, 40 acres as a reserve treat area. So this neighborhood is also great in that it has a wide variety of demographic. So a lot of young families here. There's an elementary school in the neighborhood, G.W. Smith Elementary School. There's also a lot of elderly or wiser people, as I like to call them, who choose to retire here and call Sunnybrook their final destination, I guess you can say.
I want to live here forever.
Now, this neighborhood just has a great feel to it. It has the great walking trails. It just feels very clean. I don't know what it is about the trees there. It's just, there's these massive old growth trees, and I think they are some of the most beautiful in the city. Obviously, you're going to get the bigger lots and the homes with more character. Now, what are some potential cons of living here? Again, I can't really think of any, guys. I'm not kidding. You know, maybe there isn't a lot of immediate amenities right in the neighborhood. Now, you have Bower Mall, literally. You can walk through the trees and be there within 5 minutes. So it's kind of a bonus. Sometimes in Bower, like I said, that part of the neighborhood a little bit more busier. But in Sunnybrook, you don't have it right in the neighborhood. So you still get the peacefulness and the quietness, but you can still access them all within 5 minutes of walking. Now, this neighborhood was super popular even before the real estate market heated up. People are always looking to buy there, and especially if you had a remodeled home, man, that home was selling super quick, and you were getting, you know, just about what you wanted for it. So a great option if you are thinking of an older neighborhood in Red Deer. Hope that this video kind of gives you a little bit more perspective, guys, on some of the older options within the city. Now there are a lot more. Morris Row is a great option. There's some older ones on the east side. They're slightly a little bit newer, built in the 80s and 90s. Deer Park and Rosedale are also great options. If you did get any benefit or any value from the video, please hit the like button and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you are notified every single week when a new video comes out. And if you would like any help with real estate needs, you think that maybe you connect with me, or maybe you think I'm a douchebag, it's all good. I still hope you enjoyed the video. Use this information popping up on the screen. Get a hold of me any way you know how. Of course, I'd love to hear from you. All right, with that being said, I will see you guys next week. Cheers.